1. When designing a photography curriculum for adult learners, which principle is most important to prioritize? A. Memorization of technical terms. B. Passive lecture-based instruction. C. Learners' prior experiences and self-direction. D. Strict adherence to historical timelines. 2. In evaluating photography students' portfolios, which method best aligns with adult learning principles? A. Focusing only on technical perfection. E. Incorporating peer critique with guided reflection. C. Using a rigid grading rubric without feedback. D. Prioritizing speed of image capture. 3. A mentor notices an adult learner struggles with composition but excels in editing. Which mentoring strategy is most effective? A. Ignore editing skills and focus solely on weaknesses. B. Provide individualized coaching that builds on editing strengths. C. Assign group projects unrelated to the learner's skills. D. Evaluate only through standardized multiple-choice tests. 4. In developing a photography test for adults, what evaluation approach best encourages skill mastery? A. Multiple-choice exams only. B. Project-based assessments with critique sessions. C. True-false quizzes on terminology. D. Timed recall tests on camera models. 5. When training adult learners in studio lighting, what instructional method supports knowledge retention? A. Reading technical manuals only. B. Lecture without demonstration. C. Hands-on practice with guided reflection. D. Written tests on light physics. 6. A photography instructor designing a compliance module on copyright law should emphasize A. Encouraging learners to use copyrighted works freely. B. Reviewing case studies of copyright violations. C. Ignoring legal aspects and focusing on creativity. D. Providing test questions with no real-world context. 7. During a photography mentorship program, an effective mentor should A. Provide directive feedback without discussion. E. Encourage collaborative problem-solving and peer input. C. Rely solely on written exams for assessment. D. Avoid addressing learners' professional goals. 8. Which assessment strategy best evaluates communication skills in a photography course? A. Written multiple-choice exams only. B. Oral critiques of peers' photographs. C. Silent submission of digital portfolios. E. Timed technical quizzes. 9. When building a photography training module, curriculum developers should ensure A. Objectives align with adult learners' professional needs. B. Instruction ignores learners' prior experiences. C. Activities are repetitive and unchallenging. D. Students are passive recipients of knowledge. 10. What method best evaluates adult learners' growth in photojournalism? A. Testing only on shutter speed calculations. B. Requiring learners to produce a news photo series with reflection. C. Asking them to memorize ethical guidelines verbatim. D. Grading solely on the number of photographs submitted. 11. In teaching photography ethics, which approach is most effective for adult learners? A. Reading a code of ethics without discussion. B. Analyzing case scenarios and debating appropriate responses. C. Memorizing ethics statements for quizzes. D. Avoiding ethics to focus only on artistic skills. 12. What is the best way to mentor adults learning advanced digital editing? A. Demonstrate techniques, then assign projects for independent exploration. B. Provide only reading assignments. C. Grade learners exclusively on theory. D. Avoid feedback on creative decisions. 13. When teaching compliance and model release requirements, an effective adult learning strategy is A. Role-playing scenarios of client interactions. B. Memorizing legal codes without context. C. Ignoring release forms to focus on technical skills. D. Taking timed written quizzes only. 14. What evaluation method best measures learners' ability to apply composition rules? A. Multiple choice tests about rule of thirds. B. Practical assignments with peer and instructor critique. C. Short answer questions on symmetry. D. Grading based on attendance only. 15. To develop communication skills in photography critique sessions, instructors should A. Encourage learners to give constructive, specific feedback. B. Allow only instructors to speak. C. Use standardized written comments for all projects. D. Focus critique solely on grammar and spelling. 16. When mentoring an adult learner in photography business practices, the mentor should A. Provide real-world examples of client negotiations. B. Rely only on textbook definitions. C. Assign irrelevant case studies. D. Focus exclusively on technical editing. 17. In designing a test on camera operations for adults, which approach is most effective? A. Practical demonstration of settings in varied scenarios. B. Multiple choice questions on camera brands. C. Timed quiz on photography history. D. Memorization of shutter speed tables. 18. A photography instructor who wants to apply formative assessment should A. Provide feedback during project development, not only at the end. B. Assign one final exam without feedback. C. Ignore learner progress throughout the course. D. Focus only on grading attendance. 19. Which approach best ensures regulatory compliance in teaching photography safety? Explaining studio equipment safety protocols through demonstration. E. Ignoring safety regulations during training. C. Providing vague references to safety manuals. D. Testing learners only on unrelated theory. 20. When creating photography test questions for adults, the instructor should A. Use real-world scenarios to measure applied knowledge. B. Write questions unrelated to practice. C. Prioritize rote memorization. D. Use trick questions for difficulty. 21. What mentoring technique is most effective for adults learning field photography? A. Accompanying learners on photo shoots for guided reflection. B. Providing reading materials only. C. Grading learners solely on written reports. D. Ignoring learners' field experiences. 22. To evaluate communication in photography presentations, an instructor should A. Assess clarity, visual support, and audience engagement. B. Grade only the technical accuracy of images. C. Evaluate solely the use of photography jargon. D. Ignore presentation skills entirely. 23. When developing photography curriculum for adult learners, which is best practice? A. Integrating both technical and creative skill building. B. Focusing only on historical lectures. C. Designing assessments that ignore professional applications. D. Repeating basic exercises without progression. 24. Which mentoring strategy best develops problem-solving in photography? A. Assign real-world challenges requiring innovative solutions. E. Encourage learners to copy mentors' exact style. C. Provide only theory-based tasks. D. Avoid addressing mistakes. 25. In evaluating photo essays, the most effective approach is A. Considering narrative coherence, visual impact, and learner reflection. B. Grading based only on word count in captions. C. Assessing solely on spelling accuracy. D. Counting the number of images regardless of quality. 26. A photography instructor encourages learners to critique each other's work respectfully. This develops A. Communication and collaborative learning skills. B. Memorization of technical manuals. C. Compliance without understanding. D. Individual performance without teamwork. 27. In adult learning, photography assessments should primarily A. Connect tasks to professional or personal goals. B. Be based on random recall of camera trivia. C. Ignore practical application. D. Use only high-stakes final exams. 28. When teaching photography editing software, instructors should A. Provide guided tutorials with independent practice time. B. Focus on memorizing software version numbers. C. Avoid hands-on demonstrations. D. Test learners exclusively through written quizzes. 29. What is the most effective way to integrate regulatory compliance into a photography course? A. Embedding copyright, safety, and ethical practices into assignments. B. Assigning irrelevant legal case readings. C. Ignoring compliance unless issues arise. D. Using only technical tests unrelated to law. 30. An effective photography mentor helps learners by A. Setting clear goals and encouraging reflective practice. B. Controlling every decision without discussion. C. Avoiding feedback to promote independence. D. Grading learners without explanation. 31. When teaching adult learners portrait photography, the best strategy is A. Demonstrations followed by practice with peer critique. B. Reading aloud from technical textbooks only. C. Avoiding practice until final exams. D. Grading learners solely on written reflections.